Thank you so much, Christine, and thanks to the GSE for having us here today. As Christine mentioned, my name is Josh Amster. I'm the Vice President of Fundraising at StartEngine, and today I'm going to present to you some basically information about StartEngine and what we've been doing over the last several quarters, as well as talking about the next frontier and where we think things are going for the equity crowdfunding industry. So with that, we'll go ahead here and get started. So again, the agenda here, we'll be talking about equity crowdfunding in general and sort of our traction that we've seen of late, and then ending with the future of fundraising and where we see all of this going. So what is StartEngine? StartEngine is one of the leading equity crowdfunding platforms in the industry. We were founded back in early 2015. Our CEO, Howard Marks, is the co-founder of Activision, one of the largest gaming companies in the world, and launched StartEngine to help entrepreneurs achieve their dreams. And that's what we do. So since we've launched our platform, we've helped over 500 companies raise in excess of $400 million from more than 500,000 investors. So obviously a large volume of companies, a wide reach of investors that are investing in these companies. And we focus primarily on companies that are raising capital via regulation crowdfunding, which allows you to raise up to $5 million a year, and Regulation A, which allows companies to raise up to $75 million per year. So all of the offerings on our platform are available to the general public. We do not have any offerings on our site that are exclusive to accredited investors. We feel that everybody should have access to invest in any deal on the platform, and that's what we focus on. So this graph here shows the amount that has been raised on StartEngine year over year. So obviously you can see a tremendous amount of growth that has been happening, especially over the last 2 years. So if you look at January 1, 2020, we were somewhere around 125 million. By August of 2021, we surpassed $400 million. So more than doubling the amount raised, and a little bit more than a year and a half here. So the growth that we've seen in just the raising numbers has been significant, and that number is continuing to grow in recent months, which you'll see here in just a second. Why is this happening? Why are more companies interested in equity crowdfunding, and why do you see these raised numbers growing significantly? Well, I think what you're finding is that entrepreneurs are tired of dealing with the venture capitalists. First off, what I think is a staggering stat, 40% of CEOs that have gone with VC fundraising are gone and forced out of their company within 3 rounds of the initial investment. That's an unbelievable statistic. 40% of the CEOs are forced out of their companies within 3 rounds of getting their VC investment. You lose so much control by going this direction of the venture capital route, and the entrepreneurs are tired of being forced out of their own business. Also, it's really for the elite. Less than 1% of companies actually receive VC funding. So that's so many entrepreneurs and so many small businesses out there that don't have the access to capital and aren't going to be able to get that venture capital investment. On the other side, the advantages of equity crowdfunding. First off, companies will set their own terms. Most of the companies on StartEngine are selling common stock to the general public that is more or less non-voting. So they are in complete control of what they're offering, their business, and they're not giving away any pieces of the company that they're uncomfortable giving up. Like you'll see with venture capital investments, where you give up board seats, there are all these special terms and rights and preferences that the VC get. And they take control that can eventually force the CEO out of their own business. That doesn't happen in the equity crowdfunding space. They stay in control, and that's such a vitally important aspect to all of this. As Aaron mentioned before, you're also building brand ambassadors, people that are invested in your company, that are more inclined to talk to their friends and their communities about your business and what you're doing. So you build an extremely strong, passionate group of people behind your company. StartEngine ourselves, we raise money from the crowd, and we have over 25,000 investors in our community that are invested in StartEngine. This community is our greatest asset. They go and tell their friends, their communities, they push out new initiatives for us. They bring us companies to raise in our platform. They bring us employees. There's such a passionate group of people that we are communicating with that are really helping to push our platform forward. You also, if you're successful here, you can achieve multiple things at the same time. First and foremost, you're going to raise the capital that you need. Second, because marketing is such an important aspect in all of this, there's going to be your brand equity is going to grow tremendously during your capital raise. And then lastly, if there's a way for you to increase your sales by offering perks in addition to the security that you're offering, like discounts on product and things like that to your investors, that's very much encouraged. And we see a lot of companies that are, also seeing a boost in sales while they're crowdfunding and raising money on StartEngine. And then lastly, you can continuously raise via these regulations. Reg CF allows you to raise up to 5 million every year. Reg A allows you to raise up to 75 million every year. So you can raise up to $80 million every single year from the general public. That's a lot of capital. And for most companies, that's plenty for what they need to run a very successful business. Some of the accomplishments that we've seen at StartEngine of late. First off, in Q2, StartEngine was the #1 platform in total raise when you look at Reg CF and Reg A combined. Over $71 million raised in Q2, which was an incredible quarter for us, record-breaking, and we've only seen those numbers continue to soar in the months to follow. We also closed two of the top 4 raises in StartEngine history in Q2. Knightscope raised $21.8 million. That was their second offering with StartEngine, and Liquid Piston raised $16.8 million with StartEngine, and both of those offerings closed in Q2. StartEngine has also launched over 80 companies between June and August of 2021. So you can see just a massive influx of companies that are coming to the platform, that are launching their campaign with us, and we have plenty more bandwidth to accommodate to get more launches out there and help more entrepreneurs raise capital. As I mentioned earlier, we've surpassed $400 million raised since inception and surpassed 500,000 prospective investors in the StartEngine community. Lastly, this is a very big accomplishment for our team. We launched the iOS app for StartEngine in Q2, and this is a really exciting thing based on what I'm going to talk about here in just a minute as we move towards a liquidity access and opportunity for investors through StartEngine. So launching this app and having investors invest through the app and ultimately trade through the app is something that we're really, really excited about. Our largest raise of all time is for a company called Knightscope. They raised $22.9 million with us. That was a record-breaking raise. That was in 2020. They followed that up, as I mentioned, with a $21.8 million round in 2021. So I've sort of been hinting at this a little bit, but the next frontier, what is that? What does that mean? And what do we have in mind? So StartEngine secondary, and we think this is going to be the great next innovation within the space. Basically, what we are providing here is a platform that will allow the investors that purchase shares in our platform for companies like Knightscope and Liquid Piston to be able to trade those shares to the general public and actually get access to liquidity. So it's a secondary marketplace that is providing access to liquidity to the general public. What are some of the benefits to this? So for the investors, they can buy and sell shares in sought after companies that choose to list on StartEngine secondary. So for the vast majority of people, you don't get access to buy and sell private equity investments. That only happens once companies go to the public markets and begin trading on the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. We are completely changing that paradigm and allowing investors to buy and sell shares of private companies. In addition to that, they can access liquidity in these private companies without having to pay the extremely high premiums that would come with getting this type of investment. And then lastly, you can quickly turn your investments into cash. So instead of having to wait 5, 7, 10 years to maybe cash in on your investment in an early stage startup, you can get access to capital much more quickly within maybe a year, or maybe even immediately after the raise closes, if it's a Regulation A offering. So this access to liquidity makes it so much more attractive to investors to invest, because they know they won't be locked up for a long time. On the issuer side, you can raise so much more money from investors if you're going to have an option for secondary and liquidity. The general public is going to be much more inclined to invest in a company that they know where liquidity will exist versus one where they know that liquidity will not exist. If the investors know at any time they can get out of their investments and hopefully get a little bit of cash back, that's a much more attractive opportunity than one where they're going to be locked up for several years. Obviously, for the issuers, StartEngine is providing a valuable and sought after service to the investor community through this liquidity option. The issuers that launch on StartEngine Secondary and open up their shares for trading, they are not actually public reporting companies. And so they avoid the harsh realities that come with being public reporting. There's extreme costs to being a public reporting company. There's a great burden that's put on the company from a financial requirement. So to actually offer liquidity to the general public and not have to be a public reporting company and register your shares with the SEC, that is a tremendous benefit to these companies. So our platform, StartEngine Secondary, you do not need to be an SEC reporting company to offer trading to your investors. And then lastly, because this is a new innovation, you are going to be on the cutting edge of the equity crowdfunding revolution. And there's going to be a lot of people that are looking at you, that are writing about you, because this is a brand new thing. This has never been done before, to allow non-accredited investors to trade with other non-accredited investors using private securities, private company shares. It's never been done before. So this is really a tremendous innovation that StartEngine has brought forth that you, the company, can be a part of. What does it look like? Here are a couple of screenshots here of the app and what the trading looks like today. Right now, StartEngine has 3 companies that are on StartEngine Secondary trading. So you can basically get a graph of how the stock price has been trending over the last day, week, month, year, whatever it might be. You can also see sort of what your positions are in different securities, and whether you're buying or selling, whatever that might be. Here's a screenshot of the order history, so you can see all the orders on a particular stock that are being bought and sold, how many shares that are being sold, the type of trade. All of that is live right now on StartEngine Secondary, which is very unique. StartEngine is the only equity crowdfunding platform, to my knowledge, that is offering this type of service, the liquidity to investors. So this process, how does it work? So really, and StartEngine has laid the foundation for this, as we've done it ourselves. So first, you learn about equity crowdfunding. You try to figure out which is the right regulation for you. Then you sign up with our platform, you onboard your campaign, and you traditionally will be launching a Reg CF offering first, which allows you to raise up to $5 million. Once you've done that, then you're probably going to move into Reg A, which allows you to raise up to $75 million in a given year. And companies will traditionally be, raising, let's say, 5 million in Reg CF, then 10 million in Reg A. And then once they raise the 10 million in Reg A, they're actually going to most likely go to secondary and offer their shares for trading and give access to liquidity to their investors. And they're sort of going to go in this cyclical rotation between Reg A, secondary, back to Reg A, back to secondary. So seesawing back and forth between raises. And that's exactly what StartEngine has done ourselves. So we've done a Reg CF raise. We've done a few Reg A raises. We closed our last Reg A in the middle of 2020. And once that closed, we went into StartEngine Secondary, and we offered our shares for trading. Those shares were trading for several months, and we then closed down the trading and relaunched our next Reg A offering, which actually launched yesterday. So now people are buying shares into StartEngine's company through our new Reg A offering. And once that's done, we're going to go right back to secondary and open up our shares for trading again to the general public. So it's this continuous process that we've created here, all within the StartEngine ecosystem, that we are obviously very, very excited about. So as you can see, fundraising is changing really fast. There's great new innovations coming to the industry. The regulations have changed and improved. And now with the opening of StartEngine Secondary and the access to liquidity, this is really providing the industry everything that it needs to grow and be extremely successful. So we're really excited about the future here at StartEngine and what's in store. So if you're looking for your next record-breaking raise, your company could be next. You can feel free to reach out to me at josh@startengine.com. I want to thank everybody for for listening and tuning in today, and hope to be speaking with you all very soon.